The first step is to put the upper receiver and barrel into vice blocks, and then put that into your vise. Once it's secure, you're going to want to take a good anti-seize or grease and put a liberal amount onto the receiver threads, the barrel, shoulder of the barrel, and then the actual individual shims in the kit. And then once you have that done, you're ready to put your first shim on it, which is the black one. It goes on the barrel first, and then you're going to want to put the barrel nut on. And you're going to screw it down to hand tight pressure as hard as you can 3 different times, and we're doing that so we can get a good proper measurement and get the shim seated so it gives us a good measurement for the alignment later on. So once you have that done, you're going to want to take the ALG provided trick wrench, and you're going to want to align it on the barrel so that it lines up between 1 and 3 o'clock, like so. Once you have that, we now can take a reading to see if we're in proper alignment range or not. And as you can see, the proper alignment range is over here in figure 2, and we're here, so obviously we're not. And now we need to take this back off and go through the process of using additional shims to get the proper alignment pre-torque. First, you need to take the chart that comes with the directions, as you'll see here, and according to where you are actually lining up when you're not properly aligned, you then correspond that to the position on the chart, and it calls for us to use both the green and black shim. So we can leave the black shim on, but we'll have to be adding the green one this time. So let's do that. So again, we can leave the black shim on there, and we just need to add the green one to bring us into the proper amount that it calls for on the chart there. And once we do that, you're going to want to bring it hand tight again as hard as you can a couple of times, just to make sure that the shims are properly seated under there. And once that's done, we now can take another reading with the trick wrench to see if we are in proper alignment according to the chart there. So now, as you'll see, we're perfectly corresponding to figure 2 over here, which shows what it should look like pre-torque for the proper alignment. Okay guys, so now that we've now used the proper shims to bring us into the correct pre-torque alignment, and we're ready to do the final torque on the barrel nut, it calls to just use a 3/4 inch pipe. I just found something laying around so that you can slide it onto the trick wrench like that to get enough leverage to bring us into proper alignment. And once you have that, you just start to torque it down to where we then get the perfect alignment according to the chart up top here. I'm going to bring it just a little more. And I think that has us at proper torque now. And as you can see, according to the measurement, just slid off, that I shouldn't have done. And now as you can see, we have the last serration up here perfectly aligned with the top of our upper receiver, which means we're now into proper alignment for the gas tube and gas block assembly portion of the video. Okay, so moving along. Okay, so now that we've brought the barrel nut into proper alignment using the provided shim kit and put the final torque amount on it, we actually are going to be installing the gas tube and gas block onto the barrel and be tightening it down, and then moving along to using whichever muzzle device you happen to be going with. We're using the new ALG Defense single chambered brake, which is priced really competitively, especially considering it's a really quality piece. So anyway, that's what we're going to be showing up close now, just for the purposes of this video, since it's ALG Defense's new products for 2014. It comes with these 2 shims or washers, but I'm going to opt to use a crush washer. Just make sure you put a liberal amount of grease onto the crush washer first, which we've already done. And then put the muzzle device onto the threads. And once that's hand tight, it's now time to take the appropriate sized wrench and bring it into correct timing. I basically just do it a couple of quarter turns and then back off just to make sure you get it properly on there. And now we're going to tighten it and time it down finally for good. And that should have it. Okay guys, now that we have completed the assembly in terms of torquing the barrel nut and getting the gas block and tube assembled, and then putting the muzzle device on, now we're ready to put the rail actually on the barrel nut, and we'll illustrate that now by sliding the rail over the barrel to where it meets the actual barrel nut. And you're never going to want to force this. I put just a couple of drops of oil right here on these contact surfaces to help it. But as you can see, this is just such a sweet tolerance, especially for a $135 rail. But look at that. So anyway, as you can see, it's a perfectly flush fit. And you just slide it all the way back until these anti-rotation tabs come back over the upper receiver. And you're going to want to line the 6 holes up and the rail to the corresponding holes in the barrel nut, and then with the provided 6 mounting bolts, you're just going to screw those into the 6 holes like so. Save a little bit of time. We're not going to do all 6 on video, but you guys can basically get the hint. And like that, and you'll just continue the process for the next 4 until you have all 6. And then as you see, that's it. That's it's on there, rock solid, bomb proof, and good to go. So the next step and the last step will just be showing you guys how these rail accessory panels mount onto the rail itself. Okay guys, finally we're just going to show how the accessory rail panels work. To save time, and because this process is kind of tedious, we won't be showing the actual installation of one of them, but rather just kind of pointing out the principle and how they work. So anyway, basically it just works by using a slide nut, and the slide nut goes into the ID, these channels that are machined into the ID of the rail, and you just take your sliding nut and slide it to the corresponding area on the rail in which you're going to want to mount kit at. Once the slide nut is in the position that you want it at, you simply place the rail accessory panel over the slide nut and then use the 2 screws to tighten it down. And then once they're tightened, they're not going to go anywhere. Certainly very rugged and, as they say, bomb-proof. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is an excellent rail for the upcoming year, and hopefully some of you guys will be able to check it out. Thanks for watching.